wonderful second graders. It's Miss De Silva here. I'm here with another lesson for you this week. And what we'll be focusing on over the next few weeks is talking about careers because it's Career Development Month. Now, if you're not sure what a career is, don't worry. We're going to learn more about that. We are going to start with a story. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the difference is between a job and a career. And then we're going to learn about several different occupations that maybe you've heard of and maybe you haven't. So let's get started. So remember I told you it's Career Development Month, and we are going to celebrate career development throughout the month of November. So my next few lessons will be focused on this. We're going to learn about all different types of occupations and what people do with their life and why they choose to do that. So first, I thought we could read this story called Clothesline Clues to Jobs People Do. So let's start with this. Clothesline clues to jobs people do. Look at the clotheslines and see every clue. Who uses these things for the jobs that they do? Uniform and cap, an invite for you. Big bad bag of letters. What job does she do? What do you think? She is a mail carrier. Milk pail and straw hat, overalls in blue, plaid shirt, bandana. What job does he do? He is a farmer. Oven mitts, apron, recipe for stew, puffy hat and whisk. What job does he do? He is a chef. Smock, beret, and brushes, paints of every hue, canvas and easel. What job does he do? He is an artist. Coveralls, tool belt, work gloves, and glue, safety glasses, saw. What job does she do? She is a carpenter. Heavy pants, helmet, wide suspenders too, rescue coat, long hose. What job does she do? She is a firefighter. Space suit and jetpack, star charts to review, flight gloves and moon boots. What job does she do? She is an astronaut. These clothes are all clues to jobs people do. Is one of these jobs just right for you? All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that story. We got to learn about a few different jobs, and actually, I would call those careers. Um, there's a difference between a job and a career. And so that's why this month we're talking about Career Development Month, not Job Development Month. So sometimes people might have a job that they only plan to stay working in for a short period of time. They mostly do it because they want to pay the bills and fill their day, right? It's important that we all work somewhere. But maybe it's not something that that person really enjoys doing, and maybe it's not something that they want to do forever. Whereas a career is usually something that someone really works towards doing. So they go to school or they go to a training program where they're focused on going into that career or that occupation because it's something that they would like to do for many, many years. So if you think about, for example, some of the teachers that you might have had at Darnall, maybe have been working as a teacher for many, many years. And so that's their career. That's something that they went to college for. And then they decided that this is where they wanted to work or what they wanted to do. And they want to keep doing it for a long time. So the reason that we think about these things is because we don't want to leave work and be angry and not like our jobs, right? We want to leave work every day and be happy with our choice and how hard we worked to get to that point. So what I wanted to share with you next is how we all use different tools and skills in our work. So what that means is that all of us have different personalities or different things that interest us. And that's really important to think about when we think about what kind of career we want. So when you think about what you want to be when you grow up, first you could think about the things that you're really good at or the things that you're really interested in. So we're going to break this down by planets. And I'm going to talk about how we can kind of separate ourselves into these different planets. And you might fall into more than one, but I just want you to think about this for now. So planet I is our investigative planet. This is for people, the thinkers. So people that like think really hard and they're really curious about all little things. They're really studious, and so they might study all these little things that they're curious about, and they're very independent, which means they like to work by themselves. So if you're one of those people that's always like asking, well, why is that? Why does that flower grow that way? Or just thinking about very little things and very curious, then you might be part of planet I. And then we have planet A, artistic planet. This is for the creators. This is for people that really want to learn more about languages, art, music, or drama. Or it could be all of those things. So people that really like to sing or play different instruments or use a lot of artwork. And then drama could be for people that they like to act, maybe in theater, and almost like take on different personas. Planet S is social planet. This is the planet for the helpers. This is for people that really like to do things where they work with other people and they can help other people. So I tend to be part of planet S, and your teachers do too. And then we have planet E, which is the enterprising planet, the persuaders. This is for people that are leaders. They really like to be the boss and take charge, and they work with other people, but they really like to maybe designate different people and what they're supposed to do so that everything runs smoothly. And then we have planet C, the conventional planet. This is for the organizers, people that are maybe really good at organizing materials or clerical tasks. So people that put together documents on their computer, they organize schedules for other people, and maybe even arithmetic skills. So certain like people that are good at math. And then we have planet R, realistic planet. This is for the doers. This is people that like to work with their hands for manual labor or mechanical or agricultural, so like working on farms or in fields, or even electrical skills. So anybody that works with their hands, like in construction, electricians, plumbers, oh, and there's way more than that, farmers. We're going to learn more about those. First, I'm going to go through some examples of people in occupations from planet R, the realistic planet, the doers, people that really like to work in a way that uses their hands and their skills with that. So one example would be cooks that work in restaurants. They have to prepare, season, and cook dishes like soups, meats, vegetables, or desserts. They might even have to go beyond that though. They have to order all the supplies that are needed, and then they have to keep records of all the food that they use and what they're going to need in the future. And they get to plan the whole menu for the restaurant. So they get to prepare and cook food for all the people that go to the restaurant to eat. And we're always going to need cooks, right? Because all of us are always going to be hungry. We're always going to need food. And we all like to eat delicious food. Sometimes also cooks, you know, they might even look over other people that are cooking for them and make sure that everything is fully cooked and safe to eat, and arrange the food a certain way so that it looks really nice and pretty. And all the different types of cooking that are involved. So if you like to use your hands and you're really interested in what's going on in the kitchen, this could be something for you to think about. And then we have landscapers. These are people that maintain areas to keep them looking nice, like the yard or the garden. But remember, it's not just our yard and garden. There's like buildings that need people to design all of the plants and the pathways and how everything looks. So that they keep it all looking really clean and well maintained and inviting, so that people want to go to that area. So this might be something they do with their hands, or might even get to use power tools or other equipment. They might lay grass, mow the grass, trim, plant plants, water, dig, install sprinklers. They might even like just get a new garden set up in the first place, and then keep it maintained afterwards. And then another one we have for people that like to use their hands are farmers or ranchers, or anyone that works in agriculture. So what that means is people that plan and direct all of the operations of farms, ranches, even nurseries. That's the place, those are the places that sell all of the plants that landscapers buy, that we just talked about in the last slide. They might even be in charge of supervising all the people that work for them to make sure everything happens on a farm or a ranch every day that has to happen in order for it to keep running smoothly. Also, this could be someone that likes working with animals, and they have to feed and water the animals that they have on the farm or the ranch. All right, so now we're going to talk about a few occupations that people that are a part of Planet I might be interested in. And this is if you're really investigative. So remember, these are for the thinkers, people that are really curious about little things. So I'm not sure, maybe you've heard of this one, we'll see, but what about microbiologists? Have you heard that before? So people that work in science and they study all the little organisms or bacteria, algae, fungi, all these scientific things that need to be studied, and they get a better understanding of the relationship between things. They study how things grow and how they develop, and they even will go out and to different places so that they can research and study, and they might even like help prepare or develop new products. So an example of this would be all the people right now during coronavirus that are working to study this virus so that we understand more about it. And they're working to create medication for people that get coronavirus and hopefully a vaccine so that for those of us that haven't had coronavirus, we don't have to have it and we don't have to be so careful anymore. So that's why people like this often work independently, because it takes a lot of time and attention to detail to study these things, but they do really important work. So now we are going to talk about another occupation, part of Planet I. And these are doctors or just any type of healthcare practitioner. So doctors work to diagnose and treat people that might have diseases or injuries of different kinds. So they treat people, they examine patients, and then they have to diagnose what the problem is and then give recommendations to treat whatever the problem is that's going on. They might think about different medications that might work to help this person, or even other ideas that they have for treatment. So for this profession, there's a lot of schooling involved, right? They have to go to college and then they have to go to medical school. But in the end, they get to work as a doctor for many, many years, and they're able to use their skills for that. And then we have astronomers. So again, this is all kind of like, we're all talking about people that are really interested in science, and they study science and then they use that within their occupation. So an astronomer studies the stars and the planets, and they might use telescopes or even some other equipment. And then they get to present all of their findings, because we're learning new things about space and stars and planets all the time because of astronomers that are studying these things. And they get to write articles and help contribute to your textbooks and all of the information that you learn about science, so that we get to learn new things all the time too. They might use a lot of math formulas, so they have to be good at math or interested in math, right? So that they can use that math, and then they can track the different orbits of planets and different things, all the things that go on in the sky. And then we also have astronauts, or sometimes they're called aerospace engineers. So It's not just, if you're an astronaut, you don't spend all your time in outer space. You might help design different types of spacecraft and even get to test it. And you get to really study the materials that are used for all of the spacecraft or other aircraft that is they're going to send out. So they test the equipment and make suggestions so that everybody that goes into space is safe, and that they send equipment into outer space that spends many, many years gathering really important information for us, and that helps contribute to all this technology that we use every day. So the last one we're going to talk about today are computer programmers. You're spending a lot of time on the computer now, right? But anytime when you use any program, there's somebody that has worked really hard on that program behind the scenes, where they create what's called code, and they use special code that they learn about, and it's like a special computer language. And then they write computer programs that then we all get to use and enjoy in different ways. So right now I'm using Zoom, I'm using Google Slides. These are all programs that a computer programmer, or many computer programmers, have created behind the scenes before I'm able to use it now, and it runs smoothly. So they might even work on websites. So if you're really into technology, this would be a really cool job to think about. So the biggest thing to always remember is to dream really big, right? You are capable of doing any one of these jobs or these occupations that we talked about, and you can go into any career that you want. They all take different amounts of hard work and thinking about your different skills and strengths, which are the things that you're really good at and interested in. And that we only talked about a few today. There are many, 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 many other occupations out there. Those are the ones we're going to cover for today, because I know I took a lot of time, but I will join you again and we'll go through the other planets and the different occupations that they have to offer. So the last thing I want you to think about before you go is, what is a job that you might want that we learned about today? Maybe it was a job you had already heard of before, or maybe it was a job you hadn't heard of that sounds really cool and it would be something you're interested in. So I also want to know, what was interesting about that job? All right, well, I can't wait to hear your answers to those questions. And thank you for joining me. And I will see you next time, next week. Thank you.